Over 2.9 million people worldwide suffer with multiple sclerosis and have been diagnosed with this particular condition. So many others have weaknesses and conditions that are leading to being diagnosed with this condition. So if you're somebody out there suffering with these types of conditions, I think you're going to really enjoy this podcast. We're going to open your eyes to all kinds of new interventions for multiple sclerosis and help with this particular condition. So stay tuned.
Hi, everyone. It is Cameron. March is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. So we're going to be talking about that today. From what I understand, Dr. Cormier, nice to see you, Dr.
Good
Cormier.
to see you, Kim. Yeah.
From what I understand, a lot of people suffer with multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, there's an estimated 2.9 million people across the world that have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So it's a condition I think that is growing, unfortunately, but also there's so many people that have symptoms that are not officially diagnosed.
What is multiple sclerosis, at a nervous system base?
So you want to think of your nervous system. It has a protective coating called myelin, and parts of that protective coating, almost like a tree. Think of the bark getting eaten away. So, and we kind of have my own take on autoimmune. I'm certain you'll probably ask a little bit
Yes.
more when it comes to this, but in general, that's what it is parts of the nervous system literally getting eaten.
So let's go into that autoimmune situation. MS is labeled as an autoimmune condition. Is your take on MS?
Yeah, so conventional, when it comes to autoimmune, conventional medicine thinks that the immune system in you is erroneously attacking healthy cells. But we think differently. We feel strongly that you can either have a healthy cell, an unhealthy cell, or a dying cell. And the more unhealthy and dying cells you get in your body, well, then your body gets on high alert and it starts saying, we don't want those nasty cells to take over the body. So the body, on purpose for protection, starts trying to kill off some of those bad cells. And unfortunately, with this particular condition, some of those bad cells are located in the myelin sheath around the nervous system.
Sadly, a lot of patients that are diagnosed with MS are told that this is irreversible, this is going to be a lifelong thing. You have decades of experience with a lot of patients with MS. Is that the same take that you have?
Not at all. We feel strongly that the nervous system is fully regenerative as long as you're doing the right things. And there are exceptions. Like with this particular condition, just like anything, if you let things get too progressed, then it may not reverse. But if you catch things in the beginning, middle, sometimes even the latter phase, as long as it's not been progressed too much, there's potential. We've also seen some crazy cases that have been really progressed that we've been able to help as well.
Let's talk about some of those cases that you have seen. Is there any MS case that you have that really stands out to you?
Yes, we've had three different ones that were paralyzed from multiple sclerosis that we were able to reverse and get them to fully walk and function for many years now. So a couple of them have been for over a decade now, where they've been functional. So it's possible, right? If you do the right things in the nervous system. Remember, our bodies are designed for self-healing, and self-healing is the greatest gift we've ever been given, and it's an intrinsic thing that's inside of our cells. So you gotta when a cell loses the ability to self-heal, you got to do the right things to get it to turn back on.
I'm with you a lot doing these little podcasts that we have. You talk a lot about the OWL method. Can you go deeper into how the OWL method would help a patient that has MS?
Yeah, so basically in the body, we have trillions of cells, and every single one of those cells, there's like a hierarchy of ingredients. And so most people think, oh, it's nutrients, whatever. Well, those are certainly important, but the number one ingredient in every cell is oxygen gas, and that's why you can't do without breathing. The unfortunate part about breathing is nobody breathes enough and we don't know what we're breathing anymore. So over time, cells in the body get low in oxygen and they get sick, and they can get whatever kind of condition. It could lead to something like this with MS. But you also have water, and basically we want our bodies to be at least 60% water. And sometimes people are drinking enough water, but maybe the body's not sucking it in like a desert because it's been used to being dehydrated, or it's the quality of the water that could be a problem. So we have ways of helping with that. And then light energy would be the third most prevalent ingredient. So you want to think of your brain being your power company, and it's wired to trillions of houses. Can you imagine one power company for trillions of houses?
Not at all. Good luck.
It's true. It's impossible for your brain in today's crazy world with so much interference to maintain 100% power to all those trillions of houses. So everybody has power outages, and it could be power outages to cells and glands or muscles and any part of the body that can lose power. It has all kinds of issues here, and so we have ways of figuring out where those areas are and then repairing them.
The disconnects that you talk about, the brain's disconnection to parts or anything like that. How is that relatable to a patient with MS? What disconnects do they have?
So remember, in this particular condition, it's the power company is being attacked. So basically, the brain and spinal cord, that's like your two of your most important parts of your whole entire body. It's like your massive power company and power grid. And if you start getting holes in that power grid, then wherever those areas are supposed to be functioning or just they start losing function. So we see some patients who just spontaneously will just be walking and all of a sudden they collapse. And it's because of these big faults in the power grid that can cause this sort of stuff.
You often talk a lot about frequency as well. For a layperson that possibly doesn't understand how frequency works in the body, could you explain that to them?
Absolutely. So we got obviously oxygen, water, light, frequency, magnetism would be another one, and then nutrients. That's kind of how I go through the basic ingredients, and most people just jump right into the nutrients part, but they miss all those other ingredients first. So frequency is extremely important. You want to think of each cell in your body, it has its own guitar string tune. That's probably the best way to describe it. And so your heart has the cells in your heart have a different tune than the cells in your small intestine, than the cells in your brain, than the cells in your femur. And all these groups of cells throughout the body have so much interference in the world, like we talked about. And interference can come, there's obviously environmental interference, which is like chemicals, pollutants, toxins, additives, preservatives. The food's no longer God-made food. We have 5G Wi-Fi going on 10G Wi-Fi. There's so much in today's world that can interfere with cell health and knock off, let's say, frequency to a cell, rob some oxygen from a cell, make the light energy not as good to a cell, dehydrate a cell. Those are all things that are happening to us. Unfortunately, that's the environmental side.
How could a patient with MS use frequency to benefit them?
Yeah, so in today's world, we have very, very advanced devices that can reset frequency to cells in your pocket. And so literally they're this big, they're tiny. And so you can reset parts of the nervous system just by putting these in your pocket and helping to reset the frequency of cells. So we have so many different settings that we can use in here, but obviously we want to do everything we can to 24/7 be able to help with this sort of condition. And that's why I've had over the years to really ramp up my game to help my patients. Because not only do I want to help them here in our clinic, the Nerve Health Institute, but I want to help them at home. And so we have a whole online program called BodyChargers where we're helping them at home with all these different things that we talk about. Yeah.
Amazing. A lot of patients in general, MS or not, use a lot of medications in today's world. Medications are used mostly to suppress symptoms. In which way would a frequency device differ from that?
So again, our objective is all centered on self-healing. And so I think big pharmaceutical companies, I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about big pharma all bad anyway, but for the most part, they make their money by selling more drugs. So the more drugs they make for the more conditions, the better. And my perspective is we want to make sure your body heals itself. It's designed to heal itself. Self-healing is the greatest gift we've ever been given. They don't even want you to know about that. But basically we want to keep your body the highest level self-healing possible. So everything we're doing here is centered on trying to keep your body functioning at the highest level, self-healing wise, and frequency is extremely important in that equation. It's like this mathematical equation it's a hierarchy for ingredients, and it's very high up there.
You just talked about your little platform that you have, BodyChargers by Dr. Chris. How can that help a patient with MS?
Yeah, so again, we don't necessarily treat conditions with
Okay.
BodyChargers, just for clarity.
Mhm.
That's not what we're about. What we're about is helping people with their self-healing. And so
Yes.
remember, the higher the level of self-healing you
Mhm.
have, well, certainly your body is designed to heal itself. There's so many cases that have lesions that can heal with this particular condition if they do the right things.
Mhm.
And people don't realize, but that's just whatever you're doing to make the healing happen in your body is just, it's like a cut that won't heal, and you got to get it to heal.
Mhm.
That's the easiest way to describe. And if anybody out there listening is ever had a cut that's just slower to heal, ends up with a big scar, that's an example of cells that weren't healthy. And so you can imagine the cells in the myelin that are around that start to get weak.
Mhm.
You got to do the right things to get those cells to repair, like cuts.
Yes. If there is someone out there watching that has MS, what is a hopeful message that you would give them?
There, as long as you follow the right resources. I always tell people that when it comes to health, my wife and kids and even our staff, right, we're
Mhm.
so particular about what doctor treats you or does any kind of treatment with you whatsoever, because you can go be healthy one minute and be way worse the next, unless you're doing the right thing. So it's all about the resources. Today's world is filled with so many rabbit holes, and
Mhm.
people don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They don't know who to trust. And I've been at this now for decades. We have one sole purpose, is to help people. And our purpose really is to help people self-heal. So
Mhm.
technically, I always tell patients, we're not responsible for your healing. Your body is. And it's just a God-made body designed for that. So there is help in just about anything when it comes to this, because your body does have the ability to heal itself. And these lesions, as I mentioned, are just like cuts, and you got to do the right things to get those areas to heal.
Amazing, Dr. Cormier. Well, to anybody out there watching, I hope that this truly did help you. Thank you very much, Dr. C.
Thanks, Kim.
If you can relate to what we talked about in this podcast, then subscribe to our channel and like this video, as it really helps the algorithm. Don't forget, if you want to help yourself with self-healing at home right now, then simply become a Body Chargers by Dr. Chris member. And remember, our clinic, the Nerve Health Institute, is open all year round for in-person visits. For more information, just click the link below.